Hi, Taurus. I hope you guys are doing really, really well. My name is Brian. I am your queer psychic bestie, and I have a reading for you guys today. This is going to be a mid month check in for the sign of Taurus. So, if you have Taurus anywhere in your chart, maybe you vibe with Tauruses, you could be a cross watcher, whatever the case may be, this reading may resonate with you. As always, this is the internet, so take what resonates and leave what does not. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you could do that through email or form submission on my website. Taurus, this is a free form reading I'm doing today. There is no set spread. I'm taking 6 cards across, clarifying in twos because it gives your guides the opportunity to really direct the conversation and move me where they want to move me and talk about what they want to talk about. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Bottom of the deck represents our challenge because it represents what we're not seeing, what we're not looking at. So we've got the 7 of Cups, we've got the 5 of Cups, and we've got the 2 of Swords. Taurus, Hierophant right behind that, card of Taurus, so you're kind of showing up in the challenge, so you may find that you're a bit in your own way right now, because your challenge is all about, like, needing to make a move here, needing to move on from something. Also, some not disclaimers, but like I'm congested. I suffer from allergies really bad once the seasons start transitioning. So my allergies are whopping me, and there's construction going on that you may hear. I'm hoping the sound of the air conditioner will drown out the construction, but if you do hear it, that's what's going on. So, anyway, back to the challenge. 2 of Swords, 5 of Cups, 7 of Cups. I think for a lot of you guys here, the challenge is going to be particularly moving yourself when you don't really want to. Okay? It feels like with the 2 of Swords, that's about making a decision. The 5 of Cups is like not, it's not crying over spilled milk. You know, 5 of Cups is like when we're spending too much time looking at the past. And then the 7 of Cups is options. So, Taurus, the way this is like really feeling to me is you're kind of looking at, this is such a weird way that my guides are giving this to me, but it's almost like a broad spectrum antibiotic. Very weird. It's kind of like you're looking at everything and trying to figure out, well, what's the best course of action here, and maybe you're trying to employ some strategies that we would think of as sort of like a broad spectrum antibiotic, but at the same time, it feels like you're still kind of stuck, because it's like, yes, you may be applying these strategies, and like my guide said, this like antibiotic metaphor, but I don't think you're targeting specifically what's going on here. You know, with the 5 of Cups, that's like looking at the past. It is like an issue with the past, and if you're applying antibiotic and ointment and stuff, and it's not for the past, like it's the other example I'll give you is I try to use this often to like make a point, but let's say the kitchen is dirty and it's stressing you out, so you clean the living room. And then you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know why, like I'm still stressed. It's because the stress is coming from the kitchen. You're sort of like sidestepping the issue by cleaning the living room, which may help you in theory, but not in the practice. Do you understand what I mean? So let's get into the reading. Let's see what's going on. We start with the Queen of Cups and the Sun. So some of you could have water in your chart. Queen of Cups is feminine water energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, and the Sun is a card of Leo. So you could have Leo in your chart as well. It's worth mentioning the Sun is in reverse here. And with that Queen of Cups, I think this goes back to, again, Taurus, what makes you happy? You know, I feel like some of you guys are very good with identifying this in the 3D world, in the physical world. You're like, well, this makes me happy and that makes me happy. And that's all fine and dandy. But when it comes to your emotional health, your emotional wealth, and what you emotionally want to see from your world, I think you hit a bit of a block here. And again, this kind of ties back into the past, right? Because if you are coming from an upbringing, a past where maybe you don't know what makes you happy, you aren't allowed to explore, you don't really know where your passions lie, it makes sense that you're going to run into this problem of like, well, I don't really know how to make myself happy, you know, or how to give myself things that will make me feel happy. Six of Swords just fell out, so honorable mention. When a card falls out, I don't usually take it, but with the Six of Swords falling out, I do feel like you guys are trying to move forward from this. Like I said, I don't know what they're doing outside. I am so sorry. I think they're demolishing trees or something. I don't know. But let's see. Yeah, Six of Cups again. So definitely this is a childhood issue for a lot of you. Seven of Cups again. Your cards are repeating already, Taurus. And the Fool. You know, I think a lot of you guys, the lesson here is a big lesson in bravery. You know, how can you be brave enough to do something even if you don't think you may succeed? Is kind of this lesson here. You know, with the Six of Cups, I think a lot of you guys, again, there's a lot of blocks from early or like childhood here. Keep in mind, when we talk about the inner child, it does stem up to the age of 21, you know, so we are not just talking about, oh, when you're 5 or 6 years old, right? It feels like with this Fool and the Seven of Cups, again, a lot of you guys are at the drawing board, you're at the whiteboard, the chalkboard, whatever kind of board you want to use here. You're sitting there and it's like you won't even allow yourself to consider things from the past, is how I'm seeing it. You know, let's say in the past you really loved cooking, but then you never got back into it. And now as an adult, it's like your own intuition, your own guides are like, hey, like, look at cooking, look at cooking, look at cooking. But because it's from the past and because it didn't span out the way you wanted it to, you won't even consider it. You won't even look at it. And I think herein lies the problem. You know, with the Page of Swords, you're not really giving yourself freedom to explore. You're not giving yourself the freedom to sort of go at this from a different angle, is also what I kind of want to say here. You know, the Fool is the card of bravery. It's one of the cards of bravery. It's taking a leap of faith. It's doing something even though it may not, like I said, work out for you. Yeah, Ace of Pentacles, Page of Wands. I think for a lot of you, this is about work too. So like about your jobs and your passions and how you're making money. You know, with the Page of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles, some of you may have a career or like a way of making money from childhood. Like I said, let's keep going with this cooking example. You know, let's say you really loved cooking as a kid, but everyone was like, oh, you know, being a chef is a really hard thing. That'll never work for you. So you gave it up. But now I feel like a lot of you guys have a lot of potential here to make money and progress and be happy and do the things you want to do with something from the past. But Taurus, you have to be brave enough to try it. You know, I think that's the big part here, is that you can see it. Like I said, we're at the board, chalkboard, whiteboard, whatever board you want. We're looking at it and we see it, but we won't let ourselves try. And I think that's the biggest block here for you guys, is that you're not really giving yourself permission to try it. I think, Taurus, something that you need to remember here is that at the way my guides are saying this is like at the core, at the basis of most things is the willingness to try it. You know, like I woke up today and I felt like hot garbage. And I was like, oh my God, am I sick? Do I have a cold? Do I have a head cold? And I was like, even though I had all the symptoms of being sick, I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to take my allergy meds just to try it. May not work, may not do anything, but I'm just going to try it. And guess what? A lot of those symptoms went away. Obviously, my nose is still stuffy. It's still kind of runny, but I tried it. And guess what? It kind of worked for me. You know, I think that's the larger lesson here for you, Taurus, is that you just got to try it. I mean, Wheel of Fortune, bottom of the deck. I think a lot of you get stuck in this, you get trapped in this fear of, well, what if it doesn't work? What if it does work? You know, change the narrative around, change the wording of this. It's so important. Excuse me, let me phrase that. How we talk to ourselves, I heard that and I didn't say it, is so important because it builds the narrative and it builds the story that we're telling for ourselves. You know, think about storytelling in terms of writing and reading and movies. Storytelling is so important. Without good storytelling, a movie has no plot. A book has it, you're going to put it down. You know, it's the same thing for our lives. If we don't have good storytelling, we're going to grow disinterested. Okay, right now, You need to find a way to become interested in your own story, and that's going to come from trying. It's going to come from maybe winging it. You know, sometimes all we can do is throw shit against a wall and see what sticks. That card flew. Knight of Swords, that's why it flew. Second fastest card in the deck. Just try it, babe. Okay? I really just, this reading is panning out. We're only on like the first two cards here, and your reading is just summed up as just try it. So what if it doesn't succeed on the first try? You're probably not going to. Let's be so for real right now. Perfectionism stops you. It's a trauma response. Wanting to not even try because you may not be perfect. How many things has that stopped you from doing? How many paths have you not walked because you were afraid you wouldn't be perfect at it? It's time to have some tough talks with ourselves, okay? Your next two cards are the Four of Cups and the Fool. I mean, literally exactly what we said. Four of Cups is apathy and the Fool is that leap of faith. A lot of you guys here need to break a very bad cycle of not even trying. The only time we fail at something is if we don't do it. Because then I failed to do it, to try it. You know, but if you just try it, who knows what will happen? I think you guys are sort of your biggest block right now, Taurus. In this mid-month, you know, this is, oh, I forgot to say, this is for September. I totally forgot. I'm so sorry. You know, this is your mid-month check-in. You've probably, the way my guides are giving this to me is like, if your month has been moving slow, you need to look in the mirror. Yeah, you get the Hermit that just came out. Some of you could have Virgo in your chart as well. Hermit, Six of Wands, and the Three of Cups. Yeah, it's like, I feel like, Taurus, you have support here. You know, you need to start giving weight to the words of encouragement that people give you. Right now, Taurus, you're kind of allowing, I'm going to use that word, okay? You're allowing your own negativity to weigh so much heavier than the positive around you. So you may have people, friends, family, connections, whoever this is around you, coworkers, being like, you are so talented. You're such a good chef. You're so good at cooking. You could write a cookbook. You could do this. You could do that. And you just turn around and go, well, not really, because I kind of suck. I'm also, my guides want me to say something a little bit rough, Taurus, so buckle up for this one. Have you ever tried to be friends with someone who self-deprecates around every corner? It's quite exhausting. And oftentimes, it pushes people away. I think some of you are finding that your social circle is small. Again, you need to ask yourself, do I have a hand in this? Imagine you have all these people telling you you're such a good cook. Your food tastes so good, this and that. And you just keep saying over and over, no, I suck. No, I'm bad. There's better cooks out there. No, I'll never make it. Eventually, people are going to be like, okay, well, Taurus doesn't have any confidence in themselves, so why should I have confidence in them? Do you see what I mean here, Taurus? I think you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot and stabbing yourself in the thigh at the same time. You know, like you're allowing this very negative Nancy mindset to sort of take over and taint your outlook in your world. And you need to start listening to what the people around you are saying. Okay? Our mental landscape shapes our physical world. Allow the other people's words to get in here, babe. Okay? Allow it to circulate. Well, I am a good cook. You know what? I did make that pie, and it was fucking great. I am the shit. You know, you have to start changing the narrative here because it's the only way you're going to get out of your own way. Yeah, you've got Temperance. These two came out together. Three of Pentacles and the Five of Wands. Babe, you got to start asking yourself, why don't I listen to the positive comments? Why am I only concerned with the negative? Why am I allowing the negative to dictate my life, my existence right now, my thoughts about myself? You know, there's a lot of, I can't understate this enough, Taurus, there's a lot of positivity around you right now, whether it's coming from, like I said, friends, family, people around you, coworkers, whoever they are. Frankly, I don't really care who's telling it to you. The fact is that people are telling it to you. You got to start listening, okay? I'll give you a real world example. You know, I grew up in a household where my whole life I was told I was hideous. So I grew up thinking, well, I'm like the ugliest thing you'll ever come across. And it wasn't until after years of therapy and years of rerouting that language in myself was I able to hear the people around me being like, Brian, like, you're beautiful. Before I was like, oh, I am kind of beautiful. This is what I'm saying, Taurus. You have to start listening. Take it from someone who didn't listen for a very long time. Listen to your friends when they tell you these things. They're not lying to you. Okay? One more. The sun. I mean, babe, your happiness is on the line. Your contentment is on the line. That's what we're talking about here. You know, how can you expect to keep moving forward in life, to make choices that will make you happy if you won't let yourself be happy? You know, I think some of you guys here are so, it's like happiness is so foreign to you that, how do I say this? It's almost like this is like what I'm getting in energy, sort of like you know, there's like a recoil to it. The way my guides are giving this to me is like, where does the recoil stem from? First, you have to identify why you're recoiling. What in happiness is clearly the trigger, but what about it is the trigger? What about it is upsetting you? What are the words that come to your mind that are making you go, huh, or the narrative? Okay, because that's what has to be identified. It's too broad. Again, like my guide said in the beginning, broad spectrum antibiotic. It's too broad to just say, oh, I'm scared of happiness. What does that mean to you? What about happiness scares you? Where's the trigger come from? What emotions does it stir up? What belief does it stir up? What's the common thought there that's a self-limiting belief? What's keeping you chained in fear of happiness? Okay, we got to go deeper. We got to dive. Because your last two cards here, the Four of Pentacles and Two of Pentacles. Taurus, I'm going to be really mean for a second. I shouldn't say mean. I'm going to be blunt with you. This is so harsh. It's how my guides want me to say it, though. How can you ever expect to move forward if you don't put the work in? That is not to say you are not doing the work. Okay, but I think some of you guys, when we're going through tough cycles, it's normal as a human to be like, I just want the easy way out. Can't I just get a medicine for this and move on? You know, can't I just take a pill and suddenly be happier? For a lot of us, it's not that simple. You know, that's sort of the larger lesson here, right? Is that there is no quick answer. There is no easy answer. There is no cheat code for life. This is not 2006. I'm playing Pokemon Emerald with my Game Shark and I gifted myself 99 Master Balls. You know, like, it is not the easiest thing, but it is the most worthwhile thing. I think that's what you guys have to remember here, is that the work is grueling, but it is what you need. It's the medicine you need. Also, some of you guys, I'm hearing you need to listen to your body more. How do I say this? What is this? This is like a weird. For those of you that get like antsy, like an antsy buildup, you need to find a way to like express that, and it's energy that's pent up energy that wants to come out. So whether or not that's you go for a walk or you go exercise or you there's something about do yoga, Pilates, whatever it is. Some of you need to start physically like moving your body to get the excess energy out. Dance, go to a club, go dancing, go out, night with the girls. There's been so many times in my life where I've literally just been through the ringer and I've messaged the girls and I've been like, we all need to go out dancing. We're going to the club this weekend. We're going to a rave. We're going to a concert. Whatever it is. Everyone's different. Sometimes you have to get the energy out, and if that is the output that you want to do it in, do it. Okay? You've got the Hierophant again, so Taurus showing up as ourselves, the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Cups, and the Eight of Cups. I think what's a really positive shift that's happening for you, Taurus, I think, is you are learning the lessons. You're learning them in your own time, and I think that's important too. Obviously, healing is not linear. I may be telling you all of this, but the work that we're talking about may span you the next 6 months. Who knows? It's a mid-month check-in, yes, but this work may show up for you for the next 6 months until you digest it fully, And so it feels like for a lot of you here, it's like give yourself a little bit more credit. You are moving at your own pace, but at least you're getting it done. Knight of Wands with the Eight of Cups, like you're walking away from things, you're leaving things behind, and that's going to be these old cycles, these old ways of thinking, these old narratives that you've held on to. Yeah, you have the Tower at the bottom of the deck. These are difficult things, babe, to walk away from, to let go of. This is a difficult cycle to break, okay? But you have to allow some grace here, with the Queen of Cups and the Hierophant. Like you have to allow some compassion for the dedication. You are dedicated, you are showing up, you are doing the things that you need to do. That has to be good enough for you. I almost just picked up the wrong deck. You can't expect, I can't say this enough, you can't expect this to all go away overnight. It's just not going to, babe. Yeah, Nine of Wands, Two of Wands. I think a lot of you guys, again, I can't overstate this enough. It's coming through again. There is no pill for this. There is no medicine for this. The medicine is the work. And I think that is a really difficult concept for you right now, Taurus, is that some of you are really looking for a very fast way to move through this, and there is none. There is no quick way out. It is just simply, do I do the work or do I not? It's like the way my guides want me to say it is kind of funny. Like, there is no Ozempic of healing. I can't just plop and heal. It takes time and effort. High Priestess, bottom of the deck. It takes dedication, hard work to heal. And healing takes so much energy from us. People don't realize. Mental energy, physical energy, emotional energy, social energy. These are all the energies that we are pulling from to heal. So it's okay to go slow. It's okay to not go, imagine if you went to therapy every day. Girl, you'd burn out in a week. It's okay to go every week, every other week, once a month. Allow yourself the grace to move at your own pace here, Taurus. That rhymed. Yeah, you have Death. Exactly. Card of Scorpio. Maybe you have Scorpio in your chart. With Death, your entire being is shifting here. Your entire persona, your identity. Death is death of the ego. When we talk about the ego, that is the identity. The ego is the driving force of our personality. It's that persona that we're putting forward into the world. You have to choose how you want to show up. And that means letting go of what we thought our ego was and letting it crumble so that we can build it back up, right? All right, let's get you an oracle card. This is the Angelarium. It is my favorite Oracle deck to date. I use it all the time. If you've seen any video by me ever, you've seen me use this deck. So let's get into it. Let's see what your advice is. Can I have an advice card for Taurus, please, for the mid-month check-in? What is the advice for Taurus, please? Just one. Sometimes they be playing with me and they give me like 5 or 6. I'm like, okay, relax. Interesting, you guys have the Prophet, Coca BL. And this is a persona after the fall. So the deck is split up into, it's a reimagining of the falling of the angels. So it's a persona of like before they fell from grace and then after. This is one of the after. It is also number 77. Interesting. All right. There are portents and signs that are not to be ignored. The urgency of this reality may be doubted by those around you, but there's a very real possibility that you see something that they do not. Cast your eyes to the future. A message is calling out. Taurus, I love this card because it does kind of always remind me that, I think I said this in your reading too, you're doing this in service of future you. You're healing now for the betterment of you in the future, for the benefit, right? So even if people doubt it, even like that card says, if people don't believe, whatever the case may be here, you know what's true, you know what's urgent for you, and trust that you are moving on a path that suits your highest good, okay? Taurus, that is what I have for you guys today. That is your mid-month check-in. I hope it was helpful. If this reading does resonate with you, or maybe my reading style just resonates with you, I would really appreciate if you considered liking and subscribing. We are on the road to 200 subscribers. I don't know why I fumble that like every reading. So that's exciting. If you guys would like to interact with me on a live basis, I do go live 3 days a week on Twitch. You can find me Wednesday and Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. EST, as well as Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. EST. There's also a Discord server you can join. That's where I put all my updates about stream. It's a wonderful community of people. It's just all around a great time. So if you would like the link to the Discord, leave a comment on one of these videos, or drop by stream. One of the mods is always posting the link to Discord. So Taurus, I leave you with this. I hope you have a fabulous morning, afternoon, night, wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is for you. I hope to see you on Twitch, and I'll catch you in the next video.